Hello and welcome to the News Radar. 2 months into a complete closure of Gaza's border crossings, the humanitarian crisis is worsening fast. Aid agencies are warning that a major famine could be just days or weeks away. The UN's World Food Programme and UNRWA, the Agency for Palestinian Refugees, report that their food supplies have run out. There's very little left to purchase locally, and just a few dozen food kitchens are still operating, serving as the only daily source of meals for hundreds of thousands of people. Top officials at the United Nations are sounding the alarm. The emergency director of the World Health Organization described the situation as an abomination, saying that if the world doesn't act now, it shares responsibility for what's happening. The UN's humanitarian chief called the blockade cruel and collective punishment, stressing that blocking aid ultimately results in preventable deaths. Israel denies that there is a hunger crisis in Gaza, but access for humanitarian aid remains severely limited. There is currently no clear timeline for when aid shipments might resume. Inside Gaza, conditions are becoming more desperate by the day. In the south, an aid group called American Near East Refugee Aid is preparing meals made with lentils, rice, and tomato sauce. These meals, cooked in large community kitchens, are helping to feed around 6,000 people at a time. The staff says they're doing the best they can, but ingredients are running out. Meat and vegetables haven't been available for weeks. Many families are depending entirely on these meals to survive. Israel initially closed the borders to put pressure on Hamas to release hostages. Some aid was brought in during a brief ceasefire earlier this year, but those supplies are now gone. Warehouses that once received over 100 aid trucks per week are now empty. No flour, no food parcels, nothing left to distribute. If this continues, the remaining community kitchens may have to shut down in less than 2 weeks. In massive tent camps like Al-Masri, where displaced families have taken shelter, life is getting harder. One father said he searched all day for bread to feed his 7 children but came home empty-handed. Others are using dried leaves and scrap wood to make small fires, just to heat water for tea. With no cooking gas and no food, people are doing whatever they can just to survive the day. Israel has accused Hamas of diverting or stealing aid. However, aid organizations say they carefully monitor all deliveries and insist that the growing needs on the ground are far beyond what any group could manipulate. Malnutrition is rising, especially among children, and UN officials warn that using starvation in conflict is considered a war crime under international law. In recent days, the desperation has spilled over. There were multiple looting incidents at aid distribution points, a UN compound, and even some community kitchens. UNRWA says thousands of displaced people raided its facility, taking medical supplies and damaging vehicles. A spokesperson said these incidents, while deeply concerning, are not surprising given the complete collapse of systems in Gaza. International pressure is building. France, Germany, and the UK, some of Israel's closest allies, have issued statements urging the lifting of the blockade and warning of an approaching humanitarian disaster. Even former President Trump, typically supportive of Israel, said publicly that he advised Prime Minister Netanyahu to allow food and medicine into Gaza. So far, Israeli policy hasn't changed. Hardline members of the Israeli government support continuing the blockade as part of their effort to dismantle Hamas and secure the release of remaining hostages. About 24 are believed to still be alive. Public opinion in Israel is more divided. Recent polls show growing support for a ceasefire deal that would prioritize bringing the hostages home. But for now, the fighting continues. And inside Gaza, families wait day by day, hoping that tomorrow will bring relief, if not in peace, then at least in food and medicine. We will continue to bring you new updates as more information becomes available. Stay with us for the latest updates